Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a truly heartwarming journey into the very soul of Nepal. At its absolute core, Nepal is an agricultural nation. It's a place where life, culture, and the economy are deeply, intricately intertwined with rice farming. So we're going to explore a day that literally means everything to this country. It's a beautiful story of resilience, community, and this incredible, enduring connection to the earth. Okay, let's dive right into this. I want you to picture the sky turning this deep, dramatic gray over lush green hills. And then, with the very first heavy monsoon rain, comes the life-giving mud. Honestly, you can almost hear the squelching beneath bare feet, the ringing of bells around the oxen's necks, and the rhythmic drumming of those first seasonal rains hitting the flooded fields. It's just magic. And all of that sensory magic brings us to Asar 15, which is officially National Paddy Day in Nepal. But it's so much more than just a date circled on the calendar. It's this vibrant, explosive celebration of farmers' labor, their boundless enthusiasm, their hope, and, quite literally, the nation's future. On this day, the arrival of the monsoon completely transforms into a dynamic festival that brings entire villages to life. So let's walk through what this day actually looks like on the ground. Long before dawn even breaks, the farmers are awake and heading straight to the fields. First, they carefully decorate the oxen and prep the wooden plows and yokes. Then, they dive into the meticulous work of uprooting the delicate rice saplings. And what we're witnessing here isn't just farm work. Because these exact skills have been passed down from generation to generation, farming here is elevated from a mere profession to a profound, deeply rooted lifestyle. By midday, the fields completely transform into this incredible scene of energy, totally defined by mud, smiles, and prosperity. Paddy planting here is an unmatched example of teamwork and collective labor. The whole village gathers to help out in each other's fields. You got the men guiding the plows, the women expertly planting the green saplings in perfect rhythmic lines, and kids just joyfully playing in the wet earth. Sure, they're absolutely covered in mud, but as you can imagine, they're wearing massive smiles, all sharing this collective dream of a prosperous harvest. Now, what's really interesting to note here is the auditory magic of the day. There's a famous saying that goes, "These songs make labor easier, make us forget fatigue, and keep the village's soul alive." They're talking about Asare Bahaka, which are the traditional folk songs of the monsoon. As the women plant the saplings, they sing these deeply evocative melodies. Asare Bahaka is considered an absolute treasure of Nepali folk culture. I mean, these songs literally inject rhythm and soul into what is grueling, backbreaking work in the mud, turning a super hard day of labor into a shared musical experience. Then, after hours of intense labor, the pace naturally slows down for the traditional Dahi Chiwara feast. The farmers just gather right there on the grassy edges of the muddy fields to share a communal meal. They eat dahi, which is yogurt, and chiwara, which is beaten rice, and it's often paired with sweet bananas, fresh mangoes, and traditional pickles. This specific feast is an ancient Ashar 15 tradition. It's widely believed that eating yogurt and beaten rice actually cools the body down and perfectly restores your energy after all that intense physical exertion. Let's move on and see how this builds into the broader picture of Nepal today. We are definitely witnessing a shift from traditional farming to modern realities. Where you once only saw oxen plowing, collective labor, and vibrant full villages, well, time is bringing change. On the modern side of things, we increasingly see tractors taking over the plowing, youth migrating abroad for work, and consequently villages kind of emptying out. It's a complex shift, for sure. Modern technology certainly reduces the backbreaking labor, but the migration of the younger generation is profoundly changing the social fabric of these farming communities. Building on those modern realities, farmers today face some pretty specific mounting hurdles. They're navigating unpredictable weather and climate changes, a lack of proper irrigation infrastructure, ongoing fertilizer shortages, and a significant scarcity of laborers. Yet, even with all these practical challenges, it's absolutely crucial to remember one thing. Paddy farming hasn't lost its importance. It remains the absolute backbone of Nepal's food security and agricultural economy. And that brings us right back to the heartwarming, emotional core of this tradition, which is the generational transfer. Despite the modern challenges we just talked about, the spirit of Asar 15 lives on in these quiet, beautiful moments. When an elder takes a child into the muddy field and shows them exactly how to press a fragile green sapling into the earth, they are doing so much more than just teaching agriculture. They're proving that paddy is not just grain, it's civilization, it's identity. It is a profound respect for nature being passed directly from one generation to the next. As the sun begins to set on this incredible day of labor, it's really worth reflecting on the fact that every planted sapling holds a family's hope and a nation's future. The sunset over these swaying green fields just perfectly captures the essence of ASR 15. This festival beautifully continues a timeless legacy of cooperation, honest sweat, and a deeply ingrained respect for the natural world that sustains us all. It's such a powerful reminder of where our food comes from and the sheer human spirit required to grow it. Which leaves us with one final vital question to ponder as we wrap things up. How will you honor the farmers who plant the seeds of our future? The next time you sit down to a meal, take a quick moment to remember the squelching mud, the beautiful Asare Baka songs, and the relentless, hopeful labor of the farmers on ASR 15. Understanding this legacy connects us all just a little bit closer to the earth. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep reflecting, and I'll catch you next time.